all you do is you strip the happiness and the joy and the satisfaction of your life away, being able to afford less and less and less and less and less. Jesus, I'm convinced, teaches this because he knows you cannot out-budget bad finances. One of my clients is the highest earning financial advisor in South Africa, and he measures his income every month in just over $2 million US. Wealth is not a mindset. And that's how rich people have an attitude towards money. I wake up to an email from a CEO of a massive financial services company here in South Africa, a new CEO I don't know, apologizing to me for that company having not paid me properly 2.5 years beforehand, asking if my bank details were still the same. I said yes, and they paid close to enough money for the whole tour to be paid from like this. And the money came out of the blue as a new CEO came in and started tidying up the mess of the old CEO. In my experience, I've had quite a few money miracles happen over the past few years, of course, past 5 years. Every single one of them has come when I have stepped out in faith and where I have been willing to be faithful and be willing to shoulder the risk and the dealing with the cash part of it myself, right? Lord, I don't need you. It's fine. I've got this. It's a big ask, but I've got it. And every time, that's when he steps in. That's when miracles happen. The problem is, many of us live such a comfortable lifestyle and fight for so much comfort that we're never ever in a position where he actually needs to do the work for us. And if we look at the work of Jesus in the New Testament, right? The man by the well who was crippled, almost the 5,000 who needed feeding from a few loaves of bread and a few fish, right? Almost everything was at significant times of need. And I think you will have experienced times of need yourself. I'm not going to tell you that it's always the best strategy, but miracles do happen today in 2026. He is there, but he requires us to have massive steps of faith and equally, I think, non-foolish faith. If we go back to that tour, I could have afforded over the next 6 months to pay that credit card debt back, right? It would have come at a cost, don't get me wrong, but I could have afforded to do it. It wasn't foolish faith, it was well-stewarded faith. I'll step out, I'll do the thing, I will shoulder the responsibility for this, and I can pretty certainly shoulder that and kind of balance the books within that period. His provision is not transactional, it's transformational. I think we spend so much time in a worldly way trying to make our businesses do 2 + 2 makes 4 and giving God no space to do any work in. He doesn't want and doesn't do 2 + 2 makes 4. God does things of epic returns. He doesn't do investing at 10 or 20% a year. He does growth at 10 times a month, 5 times a month, which by the way, 5 times is 500% a month or 1,000% a month. And so we need to focus on numbers in terms of growth bigger than we ever realize should or could be possible. And I want us to step into something biblical. And I've mentioned the parable of the minas a few times today. But there's truth in our New Testament with regards to money that we need to understand and embrace. The first thing is, if Jesus teaches something more than once, he thinks it's really important, right? Repetition. We've got the parable of the minas and the parable of the talents, which tell exactly the same story at different times about exactly the same thing. But what it teaches us is when we deliver large growth, he matches it. That's what we learn from it, right? He gives provision, that's the 10 minas, for instance, to the servant, that's us. We then grow it, double it, in this case. He then comes back and praises us and gives us more. But when we're given the provision of the 10 minas, it's our job as the servant to do the servant's job and double it for him. That's our work, not his. His promise is, well done, good and faithful servant. repeated twice in the parable of the minas in Luke and the parable of the talents in Matthew, right? We have to deliver the large growth using the provision he gives us in order for him to match it for us. And it's really important, if we're in a relationship, we understand what the roles in the relationship actually are. And that's evidenced in these two parables for us. Jesus teaches us he will reward us in abundance when we do the actions of magnifying wealth, right? That's not when we think about it. That's nothing to do with an Excel spreadsheet or Sage or Past or any of those accounting packages. It's nothing to do with budgeting. You can't magnify wealth through budgeting. It's physically impossible. He teaches that he will reward us in abundance when we do the actions of magnifying wealth. And I think that so many of us are not doing enough to solely focus on magnifying wealth for his kingdom, that we end up being the third servant in the parable of the minas and parable of the talents, who actually feels like we get scolded and keep having to survive. I want us to be really, really clear on what the numbers are involved. He talks about the master going away for a short period of time and coming back. So that doubling of the 10 or doubling of the 5 or the scolding of the here's the one you gave me given back to you. I think we're just trying to be too slow about this action of magnifying the wealth for the kingdom. These parables given to us by Jesus repetitively are instructions on how we should focus our money attitude in life. Think about that for a second. In fact, he teaches that magnification is more important to him than budgeting. Budgeting is burying the coins in the ground and giving back what it was you were given. That's budgeting. The truth is that selling more and making more money is the answer, because it solves the original problem of bad financial input, like not enough cash coming in. Your beliefs, attitudes, and actions are the thing that dictate your financial future. You can be absurdly rich and still humble. You don't have to be broke to be humble. Find happiness and joy as human beings.